After the 2009 premiere of the Path After Life documentary, the Monroe Institute became interested in the works of William Buhlman and now facilitates workshops at the Institute. With over 40 years of documented out-of-body experiences, William has become one of America's top leading experts in the OBE phenomenon.
Well, I was a confirmed agnostic for quite a long time, up to 1972. I had more or less rejected all kinds of spiritual beliefs and the whole concept of a hereafter. When I was in college back in 1972, a friend of mine actually had a spontaneous out-of-body experience. And he told me about it, and it changed his life. It blew him away, and he made me want to pursue the entire topic because I wanted to experience what he experienced. So I became extremely interested in it, picked up a book and began to read about the subject. And I found that there were actually methods available where you could self-initiate an out-of-body experience. An out-of-body experience is a broad term just for any form of consciousness, any perception of consciousness leaving the body. And even though at the time it sounded unbelievable and wild, I figured, why not? I'll give it a shot. If he had an experience, I don't see why I can't. So I decided to pursue it and tried this technique for a period of a month. It was an easy technique where I would actually visualize 3 objects in my mother's home, things that I had made. And at the time I was living in a dorm-like structure that was about 5 miles from my mother's house. And every night as I went to sleep, I just visualized myself going to my mother's house and touching these 3 objects. And I felt myself there, and I tried to hold that as my last conscious thought as I drifted off to sleep. And for the first 2 weeks, nothing much happened, except for maybe a little increase in dream recall. And then on the end of the 3rd week, suddenly I awoken, and I was startled to find that I felt different. And I was sleeping in a small single bed next to the wall, and when I reached out my arm, my hand actually entered the wall. And that's when it hit me that, oh my God, this is real, I did this. And I thought about standing, and the next thing I knew, I was standing by the foot of the bed. But it was totally real, totally conscious, and I was just ecstatic. I was like in shock. And I began to focus and look around the room, and I realized that I could see beyond the physical limits of my small little dorm room. And I noticed that there was someone watching me. And it was someone that had a long robe and a beard, and to be quite frank, it scared me. And the next thing I knew, snap, I was back in my body. And even though this was a brief experience, it totally changed my entire perception of reality. I mean, it changed my entire life. Because at that point I realized that, yeah, this is for real. This is not somebody's hallucination. This is heavy-duty stuff. I knew that I had entered another reality, another whole dimension. And that night I couldn't sleep, I was so excited. I started writing down oh my God, other people live in these other dimensions. This is June of 1972. I became obsessed with the topic. I really started pursuing it heavily then. I started to explore different methods and began to have a lot of different experiences.